What's going on, folks? Lee Bobby Blake here at Integrity Tires and More again. Just thought about it, and I have been slacking on making videos of this project. Got this 93 Fleetwood here in the shop I've been working on for about a week and a half now, on and off, some interruptions. But anyway, we're doing basic reinforcements on this thing. We're doing stretched and molded uppers, boxed in and molded lowers, humps, trailing arms, chain bridge, rear end. It's already got a 4-pump, 8 battery setup in it. Just pretty much doing a reinforcement package, basic reinforcement package for the guy. So my intention was, when I got this vehicle in, was to kind of do step by step, show you how I do the uppers, how I do the lowers, how I do the humps, how I do the trailing arms, how I do the rear end, how I do the chain bridge. But time kind of got away from me on that, and just being in the hustle and bustle of things. I've got some video clips of showing how I do the upper arms. Not much on the lowers. Of course, lowers are pretty basic. You know, you make your template, you make your plate, you mold it in. It's basic. But I really wanted to show like how I cut the uppers and so on. I do have footage of that. Not showing any actual cutting, welding, anything like that. It's not a how to weld video, because if you don't know how to weld, don't try it out on suspension parts. That's just common sense there. And that may get redundant, because I believe I say that in at least one of the other clips I've already made. Now, some of this work's already done. In fact, the front end's all the way done now. But it's January 7th right now. I'm going to be working on putting together the video clips, editing everything up, and hopefully have this posted tomorrow. It is going to be a little choppy. I do apologize, but I wanted to put the content out there. I feel like the Lowrider community needs more content on YouTube. There are some great guys doing footage of, picnics and shows and all that stuff. And I know I'm just like the rest of y'all. I live for that stuff, especially being here in the Midwest. It's cold, it's crappy. New Year's Day hit. Like, I couldn't wait to see all the footage from LA, all the New Year's Day crews. But, as far as like the how-to tech stuff, there's not a whole lot out there. And some of what out there is a little, iffy. Now, there's some great guys out there, from some major name hydraulic shops. I'm not going to name drop or try to, shout them out in the video like I'm trying to do off their name or something. But there's also some kind of garage guys that are kind of showing, hey, this is how you do it. And it seems like they're trying to figure it out as they go along. So I figure I got about 25 years in this stuff. I'm not the best by any means, but, I've learned a few things over the years, and I want to pass it along. Again, this may be redundant because I think I say something along this lines in one of the other video clips that are already made. But, 25 years ago when I got into this stuff, we would never, ever, ever, ever have like shared this knowledge, because that was our money. That was our bread and butter. If you need it done and you don't know how to do it, that's what we're here for. Pay us. But, now I'm trying to keep the lifestyle alive, trying to keep the sport alive, the hobby, whatever you want to call it. I want to share some knowledge. And I want to, maybe somebody will see this and be like, I'm not going to hack an A-arm in half and weld a block of metal into it anymore, because that's just janky as hell. And I saw this video on YouTube of this dude cut them like a puzzle piece, and it works great. Anyway, I'm not going to be all long-winded here. Kick back, enjoy. Like I said, it's kind of a hodgepodge of clips along the way of the uppers, and the front end's done now. I'm working on the rear end. Not a lot to show there, but I'll show a video of the whole car working when it's all said and done, with a good run around of it. But I think the uppers are the main thing where you grab a little knowledge from this. So I hope everybody enjoys. Subscribe to the channels. Follow me on all the other social medias. We are a family business, so all your likes, all your subscribes, all your comments, we appreciate all of it. Love everybody. Enjoy the show. So, of course, we're going to be doing uppers and lowers on this thing. As you see, right now it's got the stock uppers in it. He's cut it for clearance. Of course, when I rebox them, I'm going to make it a little nicer and neater. But again, for this guy's first time doing hydraulics, I'd say he did pretty well. I know way back in the day, we all made way worse mistakes. All in all, the car's pretty solid. It just needs a little extra touch, and that's what we're going to do. It's got a set of new lowers on it. We're going to throw some ball joints in those uppers for him as well. Alright, y'all, so moving right along on these upper arms. So as I said, I'm going to show you guys the way I do them. It's a little different. I know some guys feel like they just cut them here at the arm, put a piece in the middle, and then still box it up, not at the ear, not the arm rather. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way. Some guys like to just hack it in the middle and weld a block or a hunk of steel in there, and yeah, that's just about the jankiest way you could possibly do them. So I do them a little different. I cut them just forward of the ear right here on both sides, and then I go ahead and run up this radius all the way to the flat by the ball joint, across that flat, and back down this radius. Now what I do is I cut it like that. I basically slide it out, if you will, tack it back together, then I go forward with my plating. That way you maintain the most surface you can, and you get the most surface area welded inside and out. Now your main strength is going to come from your plating outside, but the strength of that plating is also all about how well it's tied into the actual arm, you know, the remaining arm itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one up. I'll be back and once it's cut and explain a little. All right, so here we go. Got it cut in 2 pieces, as you see. Now, of course, it's not held up right and all that shit, but notice I make some index marks inside and out to help with the layout. Now, there's a couple ways you can go about doing this. What I'm going to do is, this is my plate I'm cutting all the pieces out of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tack this down here. I'm going to use a piece, a little 1-inch stock, to make sure it's spaced out on the table. Tack both pieces to the table. Your angles are now thrown off, so I'm going to manipulate these sides, get them to where they'll line up nice, tack them down and everything, and then I'll cut it back loose off this plate, make my templates, cut it out, and go. So as you see, as I said, I went ahead and tacked them down to my table. Now, of course, I made sure it was flat in the nice right orientation, so it was perfectly flat on the table at this end, a little high on this end, flat here. Same thing on this side. Made my 1-inch space, used a little piece of flat stock as a cheater. Tack the arm to the table. Now what this allowed me to do is now I can manipulate these arms, get them where I want them, tack them in. May have to use a little piece of material just as a tie-in, temporary, just to keep it where it's at. That way I can make all my templates perfectly. Alright, so there it is, kind of loosely tacked together, ready to make the templates for the side. Now as you see, where I had to bring them in to make a decent angle, these are a little torqued in. Of course, once I get the top plate on, I'll work with that a little bit, manipulate that a little bit more, you know, outward, so as to, well, really more for aesthetics than anything, but also so that when I put the side plates on, they tie in well and you get all the strength possible. So next up will be some plates. Alright folks, so a little further along, got the top plate on there, got it solid welded most of the way around. Before anybody starts hating, yes, the welds are lumpy. Yes, the welds are not pretty. Guess what the welds are? They are strong. They are good and penetrated in, and that's what matters at this point. Now, if these weren't getting molded, if they were just going to be exposed welds, I would have went ahead and, you know, done very small, nice, neat tacks. That way I wouldn't have tack lumps, and then went ahead and very slowly, methodically welded it to look pretty. Key on this one was strength, so I wanted to do 2 things. Wanted to make sure it was burnt in really well, and 2, I did want to, the weld is a little high as you see. I wanted to build that material because I'm going to be molding it, and when I get into grinding it back down to get the radius on it, I don't want to be getting into the strength. I don't want to be cutting into the penetration. I just want to take off that excess and make it look pretty. So as you see, coming back to the back, the sides are not yet clamped down. And as you see from the inside, that template is not the shape of that arm. Now the reason I want to do this is I want to go ahead and when I get this, heat this up, bend it back, I want to be able to put a nice weld on the inside all the way around and then cut it just outside of that weld so that this top plate is tied in all the way to the back of the ear. Unfortunately, this is one of those times where I failed to get video, but luckily I did get pictures. And these, you can see the side plates welded on. And again, they are big, bulky welds, lots of extra material there, plenty of room to grind away, get a nice radius on it without compromising strength at all. In the next picture, you'll actually see it compared to the stock arm. You'll see the length. You'll see just how much stronger it looks. But you'll notice in that picture, it's got a pretty sharp radius on it, which I really like that look. I think it's clean. But on a 93 Fleetwood curvy body lines, I decided to put more of a round radius on all the edges. All right, so here we have it. Finished up, 1-inch extension, all molded in, just painted. Customer's gonna have them chrome down the road. Other one's already on the car. Just wanted to take a real quick little shot of the finished product here. Next we're gonna move on to the lowers. Now I'm not gonna go real detailed on the lower. As you see, we already snatched it off the car. Little Bobby there grinding it up, wire wheeling finish off of it just so I got clean weld surface. Already made a little template for the bottom. Lowers are pretty basic. All you're really doing is boxing them in. So I'll show some finished product of that, and then that'll be it. So here's some pics of the lowers being built, and I apologize, I failed to give video or picture of me forming the piece that wraps around the spring pocket. That piece ties in those two plates you see pictured here, and it is very crucial for the strength of the lower arm to keep that spring from ever to be able to bust out the bottom. So if you're building a set for yourself, definitely don't leave that out. It is crucial. As you'll see in the next picture, once that piece is in place, it's as easy as just smoothing out your welds, making nice radius transitions, and everything will look beautiful. It'll be strong. It'll be worry-free. This car is not going to hop, but I'd rather build it stronger than it needs to be than have any issues. That's it for the front end. Got it all put back together. Uppers stretched, molded, lowers boxed, molded. The customer had some chrome springs around and chrome cylinders we put in while we were at it. Also did new ball joints. Going to move on to the rear of the car. I'll make some more videos out of that. Doing rear humps, trailing arms, chain bridge, and going to box in the axle. So be looking for more video on that. Please subscribe to the channel. I do apologize for the quality. My goal is to, at 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to upgrade to some better equipment. So the more of you guys that subscribe, the better these videos are going to get. But until then, love everybody. Thanks for watching.